Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Email Expert. And I have with me a very seasoned veteran when it comes to email. Feel free to introduce yourself, Jason.
Absolutely. My name is Jayson DeMers. I am the founder and CEO of Email Analytics. So we got email right in the name there. So hopefully I'm enough of an expert here.
So, a common question that we ask most of our email experts is we want to know what your relationship with your inbox is like on a typical day. What's your go to email productivity tip that you would share with others?
Yeah, for me, I would have to say it's that which gets measured gets improved. This has been so true for me. There's a psychological effect called the Hawthorne effect, and if you're not familiar with what that is, then essentially what it is it says that people who know that they're being monitored or that their behavior is being monitored or measured alter their behavior accordingly, even if it's subconscious. And so what I've found is that just by measuring the email activity that I have on a day-to-day basis, I improve it. And so you might think to yourself, well, how do you improve email activity? What does that mean? How do you get better at email? Well, for me, what I really try to focus on is improving my response time. To me, the faster I can be in responding, the more efficient everybody can be. I'm not bottlenecking people. I'm making more sales when I'm emailing with leads or prospects, and I'm having happier customers when I'm emailing them faster. Because everybody wants instant gratification in today's age of Twitter, and you know what I mean. Instant gratification, and so for me, it really comes down to that which gets measured gets improved.
Do you know what, I mean, based on measuring, do you know how often or of the time of the day that people normally expect responses from you? Or is it just a time that you block out during the day or during times in the day to just give responses?
Yeah, my relationship with email is pretty much nonstop throughout the workday. So from the moment that I start work in the morning, which is generally around 8:30 or so, I am switching between other tabs and my email, checking it almost in between every single task I do to see if there's any new leads or prospects or conversations that I can follow up on. So I have a very close relationship with my email inboxes, that's for sure.
Okay, so what are three tips or tools that you would like to share with people when they're doing emails for business? I know that most of our experts have said definitely make sure that your content is relatable. They've also spoken about making sure that you measure clicks versus opens. And I know that most of our experts have also touched on the new privacy measures that are taking place with Apple and Facebook and just going forward. So, what are three other tips that you might want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of tips that I think that people have probably heard over and over. So I'm going to share some tools. And this is I'm biased, self promotion incoming right here, but email analytics that is my business, and we are the only way to visualize email activity. In the sense of how many emails did I send and receive, what is my email response time, how long does it take for other people to respond to me, at what hours of the day do I work, what does my trend line look like in a 24-hour period. These are all questions among many others that we can answer at email analytics. And so that's the first tool that I want to share because not a lot of people know about it because we are a new and young company. Number two tool would be Boomerang for Gmail. This is a tool, and I say Gmail, but I think they have an Outlook extension as well. Um, Boomerang is a tool that I love, and there's a lot of plugins out there for various mail clients that do something similar. But what I really like it for is that I can have it essentially boomerang an email back to me if it doesn't receive a response in a certain amount of time.
Like a snooze feature or different?
It's I think you can. I'm not sure that it's exactly like a snooze. A snooze will return an email to your inbox after a certain amount of time. So I guess it's pretty similar. What Boomerang does is it will return an email thread to your inbox if no response was received from the recipient after a certain amount of time. So if they do respond to it, then it sort of cancels it's not going to return it to your inbox. What that allows me to do is make sure that no emails fall through the cracks. Um, so if I send an important email that I need somebody to do something, I put a boomerang on it for 4 days, for instance, just as an example. And if they don't respond and get me what I needed within 4 days, Boomerang's going to remind me, and then I can follow up with them again. So that's super important to me. It has helped me save so many things from falling through the cracks. It has helped me make so many sales because it allows me to be persistent with my follow-ups. And I just can't recommend, sort of a reminder app, whatever one it is you use, enough. I personally use Boomerang, but there are many out there that do the similar things.
What's one more tool that you have for our audience?
That would be Mailshake. Mailshake is for sales engagement. So it's specifically meant for conducting. I use it for cold outreach. It can be used for warm outreach as well, but it's pretty great for cold outreach. So that's what I use for cold outreach, and I really do enjoy it.
These are really amazing tools, and it's all based on your needs and where you are in your business and what you're really going for. And as you said, I think most people will relate to wanting to know more about the analytics in their inbox. So I would just throwing this out here. What's an analytic that you think people shouldn't be focusing on, and what's an analytic that you think people really should be focusing on instead?
Um, that's that's a good question. I'm as far as what they shouldn't be focusing on. That I think is a really big. It depends, because I think it. I could throw out, well, open rate. Doesn't matter that much. As what really matters is conversions or something like that. But it really can matter. In that example, a higher open rate means that you do have an effective subject line that can give you information that's good. Um, so I'm not sure that I'd be comfortable saying that there is definitively a metric that people shouldn't focus on. I would say just, take the information, the analytics that you have, and use them and apply them appropriately for your situation. Um, and then as far as a metric that people aren't using, but they should, this is going to go back to what I was talking about with email response time. And this is a metric that is not generally reported by most tools out there. So even Mailshake and these other sales engagement tools, they're not reporting response time. That's actually the gap that we try to fill with email analytics because it's compatible with that and on all these other apps. So
Why is response time so important? I'm just
glad,
for our
yeah, I'm
audience.
glad you asked. I've got a few stats. Studies have shown that 35 to 50% of all sales go to the vendor that responds first. That's a lot. If you can be the first one to respond, you're going to really ramp up sales. Here's another stat for you. If you can respond to new leads in under 60 minutes, your close rate goes up by 700%, 7 times. So those are just a couple of stats that come from reputable studies that have shown that yes, response time really does matter, and that's just in the context of sales. When you talk about the context of customer service or communicating with existing customers, you're not trying to make a sale, you're just communicating with them. There are more studies and stats that show that you have happier customers when you respond faster. That's going to lead to, obviously better relationships with customers, which is going to lead to higher retention rates. So responding quickly not only increases sales and leads to happier customers and better customer loyalty, but it also removes bottlenecks and improves efficiency flow with internal communications in your own organization. There's just a lot of benefits to it. The reason why other companies aren't measuring it is because it's really difficult. You have to get certain API permissions through whatever mail client you're using, and you have to go through approval processes in order to get that. We've done all that and we've gotten all that. So, and then it's difficult to come up with an algorithm that calculates it because you would not even think about how difficult it actually is to calculate averages. It's not as simple as, well, I got an email and I responded to it. You have to take into consideration work hours, weekends, evenings, things like that. Are we going to count this time?
Fall through the cracks.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So there's a lot that goes into it. And so I know I've been preaching email response time a lot on this episode, but I really do believe in the importance of it as an undervalued and overlooked metric that really is underrated.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially whether you are communicating internally or you're reaching out to people for business. It's definitely
Exactly.
a factor.
Exactly.
So, which leads me to my next question, which is how do you see the email industry changing for 2022? What are some changes that you think are going to happen that you like it's definitely based on what's been going on, this is going to happen? And what are some things you actually would like to see in 2022 from other marketers?
Yeah. I mean, with COVID, we've seen a lot of people, going to work from home, or remote work situations, and a lot of that is staying permanent. As companies are saying, this actually works out pretty well. We don't need to bring people back into our office and pay a lot of overhead for, electricity and rent and all that kind of stuff. And so I do think that email is only going to continue to expand as it always has been in terms of usage. Um, when programs like Slack came around, people were saying, this spells the end for email and so on. I think that's ridiculous. I think there's a place for email, and there's always going to be, because it allows asynchronous communication that is convenient for all parties. You can respond when you want, when you need, and you can keep a written log in very clean format of all your communication that can be referenced later. I mean, it's just so perfect for so many
100%.
business applications. Yeah. So email is not going anywhere. I think it's only going to grow as a result of the work from home shift that we're seeing. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it, and I do think that programs like Slack and chat programs like that are also going to continue to see increases. I think communication in general, like digital communication, be it email or be it instant message, be it text, be it phone call, I think it's all going to be increasing as people work remotely more than they're working in person. That's how I see the trend.
100%. And I think that now, during everything that's happened, we realized how much more we can get done through these communication apps, through email, through just making sure that our message is clear, our interaction is, I think it has become nicer, especially via email. We're not very like, buy this, do this. And we're like, hi, how are you doing today? Hope everything's good. Here's XYZ. Or hey, would this be something? So there's definitely
Yes.
a shift in the culture, based on how we communicate, our response time, how we navigate through the analytics, and how we just engage with our fellow employees, as well as how we engage with our customers. And I would like to ask, what's something that you'd like to see in the email industry for 2022?
Something I'd like to see. I would really like to see a shift toward, I would maybe say a continued shift toward away from this really pushy, salesy, like buy it now, or, that sort of language, and really getting more into a personal relationship building component. So, one thing I mentioned earlier was I like to do cold email outreach, which is one of our sales tactics. Um, and one thing I found a lot of success with, this is really interestingly, is I include a picture in my outbound emails, and it's a picture of me and my dog, me holding my dog. And I have a yellow lab, and he's big. He's like 75 pounds. So, I'm holding him here, and he's got the cutest look on his face. And I get so many warm, positive responses to emails, people saying, hey, that's a great email, Jayson. Like, I love your dog. I'm a dog person too. And so what I've really found is that, you know, you can still provide value through email, even through cold email, even if it's just a silly. I have another one that I did where I had my dog wearing my slippers. So his two front paws were in my slippers, and he's looking up at me from the ground wearing my slippers. It's the cutest thing ever. And people loved that, and for me, it's really fun it's like, I know I'm doing cold outreach, and a lot of people say, well, that's spam. But such as business life, right? We're all trying to hustle as business owners or marketers, and so you got to do what you got to do. But if you can do it in a way that brings a smile to people's face, there's a lot of value there, and it makes me feel good. And so I would really like to see marketers and email kind of take this more personal, warm direction. Make people smile, if nothing else. If you're going to be reaching out to them, provide something of value. That's kind of where I'm going.
Definitely, definitely. One of the things that I started doing, whenever I do outreach, is I actually talk about how getting a random email from a stranger, like, wait, before you put me to spam, I know like getting these emails can be annoying, but
Yeah,
hear me out
it's
first. Yeah.
It's so true, yeah, that works. Another thing that I found that works well is you can actually even just play off of it by, sometimes I'll send an email and I'll say, "Hi, first name," like I'll actually put right first name, and then below that I'll put like, haha, just kidding, hi Victoria, blah blah blah, because we've all seen 100, 1,000 of these, hi F name, whatever, emails, and we're all tired of it. But if you can turn it into a joke and sort of be self-aware, like, yeah, I know this is another email, but like, I really think there's some value, there's something different here, that gets people's attention, because you're being genuine, you're being authentic, you're being honest. Like, yep, it's another cold email, but
I don't hope
give
this
me a
email
shot.
finds you well. Like, nope.
I don't hope it does. Yeah, exactly. I don't think we all need to stop sending cold emails just because some people don't like them. I think that what we all need to do is just get more human with it. Because that's where you can start to build a real relationship.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And guys, if you want to find out more about Jayson and email analytics, be sure to check the link in the description below. And we'll see you guys next time for another episode for Ask the Email Expert.